I really like what they're doing here. If it works, truly is affordable. All right, I've been holding off from talking about this one, but I think it's time. Back in late April, I saw this headline here. Slate emerges with customizable EV pickup available for under 20,000 US dollars. And there's a video, and we will look at some of the video. There have been reviews and so forth since then. And also, since then, they seem to have secured 100,000 reservations for this very affordable EV. And that is what people are looking for, I think. So, we're going to get into it, see if this is any good, see what the deal is. And it has to be said, I know you're probably thinking about this. Yes, it's $50 to reserve one, so that's not much of a commitment. We saw with the Tesla Cybertruck, there were so many reservations, pre orders, and people dropped off the list. So, will this be the same? It's not the same commitment because Elon said they were going to be $40,000 and then they came out at $100,000. This is around $20,000. You know, there's the tax incentives as well, but we will get into that. Okay, so this is on the website, how you can change it into different configurations. It's easy to color. And so this is what they're saying that you can do with it. You can make it into an SUV. So there's a lot here, and we're going to go through it, but you can see some of the options there that they have. So I'm going to say that I really like what they're doing here. If it works, truly is affordable. It seems to be, unless they come out with a higher price when it actually comes out, but I don't think so. And we can see here, this is the clean slate. Get it? That's the idea. You've got a clean slate. I think that if you've got an older car, for instance, there's a lot in here that's kind of new. And so it is an upgrade from an older car for sure. And we'll have a look. But just right now, if you're getting value out of this episode so far, do remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. It really does help. Thanks. And so let's look. There's this Inside EVs review, which is good. I've got a snippet of it here, a summary of it, and I'll put a link to the whole review there if you want to go and check this out. And I'm going to react to some of this and say what I think of it. As I said, I've been holding off, but I've decided I really like this, and I'm not being paid for this at all. There's no sponsorship here. It's just, I like the idea, and I said, watch out Tesla, because it truly is affordable. And could this eat into the US Tesla market? There's no China EVs because of the massive tariffs, or they've been changing up and down with the tariffs. Let's just say that there are going to be tariffs from China. It makes sense for the US to do that to protect their car industry. Otherwise, they would have very affordable EVs in the US, but this one could be the first. And at the price point, it definitely undercuts Tesla, but it is different. Maybe it's a different market, maybe it's not. But I do think there's a lot of people waiting for an affordable EV, and this is not just a pickup. As you saw there, you can reconfigure it to be an SUV with seats, but let's get into it.
An EV pickup truck that costs under $20,000 after federal incentives. And here it is. This is the Slate truck. How did they get this thing to be so damn cheap? And there's a few things that go into that. Basically, this company says that they have stripped down manufacturing to its simplest form, and the truck is really, really basic. You get one color, that's gray. You don't get an infotainment system, but as we'll talk about later, you get a lot of really interesting options to customize this truck. You get this blank slate, they call it, just a platform, and then you can add on hundreds of different accessories to basically make this truck your own.
It can end up being more expensive, but you can choose to put what in it. That's the point, and that's what I like here. Seems that they're coming up with a platform that you can add to and take away from, and you can just buy the basic and then add on to it. I really like this concept, and if it works, there's a potential that it could be really popular, I think, and definitely aiming at the US market with this small pickup. It's kind of retro too. It's sort of got a retro feel or a retro look to it too, as a basic pickup, don't you think? Let me know what you think of it, by the way. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the truck. After seeing this, let me know. I'd really love to know what other people think of this.
As you see it here is going to be the base model that arrives in your driveway if you don't add any of those options. You can add wheels and wheel covers and all sorts of stuff, and you can even turn this thing into a damn SUV. So believe it or not, this is actually the exact same vehicle that you saw before. They turned this thing into an SUV, they wrapped it, and that just shows kind of how customizable and DIY-able this Slate truck is. It is quite a bit smaller than a Ford Maverick, And
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of those older two-door trucks like the Ford Ranger.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Look at this. It's very this nostalgia value to it too. A basic truck that kind of looks like it could be from the 1980s, but kind of not. It's definitely an update. And even when it turns into an SUV, you can see it does look like some older cars, which I'll talk about.
Or Toyota Tacoma. The kind of whole concept here is to create a back to basics vehicle that regular people can actually afford. Slate is all about customization and DIYing your truck to be exactly what you want it to be. And it's a really interesting new approach, I think, to EVs. It's kind of crazy how many different combinations of add-ons and accessories you can add to this vehicle to make.
Yeah, what I like about that is you can buy the basic, which is affordable, and then maybe as you earn more money, you could add to it, add smaller things as you go along. And you say, oh, I could get a stereo this month or whatever, and add to it, or even take away, change it around. I think it's a good idea.
Look and feel however you want. They say it's super easy to wrap. It has these coach lines, the body panels are really easy, and they say that professionals can wrap a truck in just 30 minutes. You can choose from a bunch of different covers for the daytime running lights. You can swap out that Slate badge in front and have it be whatever you want it to be. So here's how the customization program works. You order your accessories from Slate, and they'll arrange for a partner to install those accessories for you near your house and then ship the car to you, or you can actually do it yourself. And a lot of this stuff just uses regular hex keys, so it seems like pretty much anybody could figure out how to swap parts on their truck.
It's like the IKEA of trucks. It reminds me of those hex keys. I think most people won't be doing this, but for the DIY, it could generate this market where people who are into DIY could play around with them. It has the potential to turn into that, where people who like DIY can tinker around with it, buy new things, change it.
You can get two different estimated ranges in this truck. The lower range one gets 150 miles projected, and the longer range one gets 240 miles. So
That's not bad. It's not bad range. The ranges have gone up. If it was many years ago, the range would not have been very good, but that's kind of a good basic range for sure.
those are the only two variants that come out of the factory. It is one with a small battery, one with a big battery. Everything else is added after the fact as accessories. So the Slate truck is single motor rear wheel drive. Really interesting thing, this comes with a Tesla designed NACS port, and it's actually in the right place on the back left of the vehicle, so you don't have to act like a jerk when you go and charge at the Tesla supercharger.
Yeah, actually, on that, I did see another story which I might do a video about, where Walmart is going to go heavily into charging. So we go to pull up to a Walmart, and you know how many of those there are. So this is also good for this type of car and for the future of EVs, being able to charge them easily.
Power is 120 kilowatts, and they say that this car can charge from 20 to 80% in under 30 minutes. We're not talking about top of the EV market, but then again, you have to remember that this is more affordable than basically any other EV out there. Production starts in late 2026. By the time things are up and running in 2027 or 2028, Slate expects to be making about 150,000 of these a year. It's kind of
So that's the aim. Remember, Elon said that they wanted to make 250,000 Cybertrucks a year. They're not going to get anywhere near that. I mean, really, they haven't sold that many. It's a big flop. But this is a different market, but it is a pickup truck. And at the price point, maybe they could potentially sell that many. Who knows? It's hard to start a new EV company. No, we've seen that in the past couple of years.
hard to talk about the Slate truck's design just because this thing can be so different depending on how you customize it. But I think in general, it looks really good. It has this really timeless, really simple design without being boring. There is this boxy one that we're looking at here, and there's also a fastback, which...
So what do you think of this? Let me know what you think of the SUV versions of this. You know, this reminds me a little bit, although it's a lot smaller, of like a late 1980s Range Rover type of shape. If you have a look at those, it's very similar to that in a way.
honestly is probably the one that I would order. I think this is a really cool option because it's something that you can do after you bought the truck. Let's say you have a kid or you decide you need more space. you can order that SUV kit and install it yourself. And that's just the stuff that you can do to the outside of this truck. There's also a ton of customization options for the interior. It's pretty basic in here, you know? You have a
Basic, but it doesn't look bad. And look, it's the windows. There's not electric windows. That's an add-on, but even with the old nostalgia value, wind down windows, and that is kind of nostalgia value at this point.
good amount of hard plastic, but it has a nice texture to it. In front of me, I've got a digital gauge cluster that also functions as the backup camera. In the blank slate truck, you'll have gray panels up here. But one thing that is on the blank slate that you also see in here are manual windows. Let's give that a little go. Powered windows are an accessory that you can buy, and you can get door bins, you can get a center console, and you can also outfit this dashboard in a bunch of different ways. You don't actually get a stereo in this vehicle if you order the blank slate. You can use your phone, and maybe you could put a Bluetooth speaker in the cup holder, and that's going to be your music.
And that's pretty good, that you can use your phone and a Bluetooth speaker, which these things are pretty cheap these days. I mean, and they give pretty good sound. So that's not a bad option if you wanted to cut down the costs rather than the stereos that are already in cars. And again, you can change it. So the screen that you use is changeable as well.
Also buy accessories from Slate. So in this one, we have actually a couple of speakers behind here that can connect to your phone via Bluetooth. There are some things that you do get in this vehicle as standard. That includes AC and heat. One interesting customization option for this interior is something that Slate is calling slatelets. And they're kind of like those little things that you can stick into your Crocs that you can slot into this track there.
Yeah, exactly like that. Things that we've seen those pins that kids buy for Crocs, and maybe that's appealing to kids or younger people who are going to buy these, maybe perhaps as a first car even, or a second car.
There's no screen. Instead of an infotainment system, you get an app on your phone. You stick your phone into this phone holder, and it actually gets plugged into the vehicle. The app shows you how far you can get on a charge through this map, and also shows you where charging stations are. They let you use basically whatever your preferred app is. They don't force you to use something else. You can use Waze.
It's good that you can use whatever mapping software you have, like Google Maps on your phone. That's good.
Or Google Maps. It actually allows you to diagnose problems in the vehicle yourself. This is a really unusual thing for any car, and especially for an EV, but the app will tell you what's wrong with your car and suggest ways to fix it, whether that's by yourself or by bringing it to a service partner. You can actually add steering wheel buttons over here that control your volume or control the track, and those will also connect to your phone via Bluetooth. On the left-hand side here, I can see that there are cruise control buttons, just basic cruise control. However, Slate does say that more advanced driver assistance tech is in the works. This thing actually can get software updates over the air, even though the truck itself is not connected to the internet. Instead,
so that's kind of good for privacy if people are worried about privacy, that the vehicle itself's not connected to the internet like so many EVs are. Another form of surveillance that can be hacked, but this is a good way where you can download it onto your phone and presumably a tablet as well to put there. I'm sure they would have that option. Again, I think as a platform, this is a good idea, that the way that it's so customizable, you buy the basics and you can add whatever you want to it.
you can get software updates through your phone. Overall, this interior is pretty darn basic, but it's really cool that you can upgrade it over time. It's really cool to see a company going the complete opposite direction and making something that's really for everyday Americans. Building an EV company from scratch is really, really hard.
Yeah.
And I hope Slate can pull it off, but we'll have to see how they do. I think it's also an open question whether people will go for such a bare bones vehicle.
Well, I think there's definitely a possibility, but let me know what you think. Do you think there's potential in this? They do have a lot of reservations, 100,000, probably more. I mean, that was a while ago. So do you think that this is going to be a success? I think it's got the potential for that, a truly affordable EV, and the basics are pretty good, I think, for what you get, and you can add little bits along the way as you can afford them. I think it's a good idea. What do you think? You might think that it's a terrible idea, and it could cut into Tesla's market. They should have done an affordable car, but this is a totally different concept, I think. The company itself does have really good funding behind it as well. I haven't talked about that at all, but it looks like that they could make a good go of it. Let me know what you think. And right now, I'm going to put a related link right there if you're watching this on YouTube, and hi to everybody watching on Spotify as well, and a subscribe link on screen. Do subscribe if you're not subscribed yet to get more of these kinds of videos from me in the future. And thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.